Okay, so let me just talk in short about English paper. This is this year's English paper. You have to write one essay around 800 to 1000 words. But here you are given only 6 pages. So you can't really write 800 words, but write as much as you can. Basically 600 words at least you can write. But if you look at the essay topics, they are quite simple when you compare them with CSE mains essay paper. So this paper is very similar to civil service examination English paper, except there are 2 extra questions here. So it is little bit more difficult to complete this paper. Okay, so you can't relax. You cannot just write at easy pace and expect like CSE mains. I'll complete the paper half an hour before the time. That's not going to happen. There are 2 extra questions here. The thing to remember in essay is that this is essay in English paper. This is not your essay in essay paper. Here the primacy is to grammar, is to correct spellings, it's to correctness of usage of English language rather than your ideas and discussions and multidimensionality. Of course, that is also an added advantage, but not at the expense of grammar or the correct spellings. So please be cognizant that this essay is being asked in English paper and not in separate essay paper. So in this essay, because topics are simple, you may feel that yes, it is easy to score, but we are habitual to making grammatical errors, and since these will be corrected by some English professor, they will catch all your grammatical errors and cut down your marks drastically. So be careful about your usage of language, usage of grammar, commas, prepositions and articles, etc. So that takes primacy here, because this is an essay, not an essay paper but an English paper. Okay, other than that, so for that, one thing I would recommend is make habit of writing small sentences rather than 3-4 liners, big sentences, etc. That that may be forgiven in essay paper, but here you will have tendency to make more mistakes in bigger sentences. So it's better if you can ensure grammatical correctness, because this is an English paper. Okay, then let's look at the question number 2. There are 2 parts. You have to write a letter and you have to write a report. These are 25 marks questions. The letter here is formal letter, so you have to look at the correct format for formal letters. And this is a report. This is again something you might have done in your board examinations. Just go back, just look at the formats, how the formal letter is written. So there is sender's address, receiver's address, the designation, then the subject line, then the, how you address the person, what kind of language is to be used in that kind of formal letter. So formal language you have to practice, and finally the how you convey yourself, how you write, how you conclude the letter, etc. Just have a look at 4 or 5 formal letters, practice 1-2 if possible, and you are done for this part. Again, same thing with the report. I mean, there is nothing for me to explain here. Again, please ensure grammatical correctness, proper usage of language and grammar. Don't make spelling mistakes, because this is an English paper. Now, this is again one of the crucial parts of this paper. Write the precis in 1/3. So you have to basically write precis for 50 marks, and this passage is given. You have to reduce it to 1/3 without changing its meaning and writing it in your own language, which is the most crucial aspect. In civil services examination, English paper is a qualifying paper, so you will be forgiven if you write word to word reduction of that passage. So if you use same words, same sequence, and just delete some words, that is fine for English qualifying paper, because anyway you just have to qualify. Here it can't be forgiven, because here it is an English paper whose marks are going to be calculated in your final tally. So here you have to read the passage, reread the passage, you have to understand the concepts, understand what the passage is trying to say. You have to write it in the rough, in your own words, what the ideas are without changing any of its meaning, and you have to reduce it to 1/3, and then you have to write it ultimately. You have to write the précis in your own language and not just delete random words from here. You can jumble the idea, so you can start with second paragraph first, then come to the first paragraph, etc. But ensure that it is not word to word reduction of given passage. That is not going to fetch you marks. Précis is to be written in your own language always. So be cognizant of that. If you want, you can practice it 3-4 précis. You write it beforehand because these are big passages. So see, this is 464 word passage. So you have to write 150 word précis. It is not as easy to do it directly in the exam hall. So if you can practice 1 or 2 précis beforehand, that would be best. So at least have a look at ideal précis that are solved by other people for the same purpose. Okay, you don't have to give title to it or anything. You just have to reduce it, but you have to do it in your own language. That is the crucial aspect. And if you don't do that, you are not going to get marks. And this is my again personal experience. I had only 125 marks in English last year, and this was the reason. I did not prepare anything special about in English paper, and I just in précis writing. I used the same words, the same sequence. I just deleted some words, merged some words, etc. That is not going to fetch you good marks here. And then comes to next question. We will be given a passage. Basically, you have to answer questions based on passage. So comprehension is there. Passage is fairly easy usually, not that difficult. Question also are not that difficult. It is a big passage, I agree, but still it's not that difficult to understand. So question also, if you can read it, they are not difficult. Space provided is also not that much. It is same as civil services main examination, but here again the same thing applies. This in forest examination, English paper marks are counted in your final tally of marks. So please ensure that you write these answers in your own words and not just copy from the passage. If you do that, you are not going to get marks. Again, mark it from me. Please write all these questions in your own words after understanding the passage. If you find that answer is there in the first passage itself and some of the answer is found in the fifth passage, do combine that and write that. That gives an added advantage to you, because that can happen. Okay, so some point in, for this, let's say question number 1, most of the answer is found in first paragraph, but some of these points that are appearing in the last paragraph, they may also be applicable. Please write that in the answer as well, and overall ensure that you are writing in your own words and your own understanding is getting reflected there. Please don't just copy from the passage itself. That is of crucial importance, and this is also 50 marks, and space is not that much. You just have this much space on the A4 sheet, so you just have to ensure that you are writing in your own words there. Okay, now this is the last section, grammar. It is asked for 50 marks. This is, I would say very easy to score. Okay, 50 marks, out of that at least 45 you should get. Here is the section you can get definitive edge, because we don't study usually grammar in that detail, but if you do, this is very rewarding. This is not complicated. These are direct questions which will give you direct marks. There are 10 statements here. You have to just read correcting grammatical errors. Even if you get 7 or 8 right, that is good enough. But yes, you have to practice it. It is not as if directly in the exam hall you will be somehow remembering all those grammar rules. So please study for one day. Give 1 or 2 days for your English preparation. You won't regret it. It is highly scoring. One can score even 150, 160, 170 marks in this single paper, which you will require lots of effort in scoring in optional paper. So please do not ignore this paper. Again, I am telling you. So correcting grammatical errors, 10 statements, 10 marks. At least 7, 8 you should be able to do quite easily if you just review your grammar book once, or any English grammar video on YouTube for once. See, these are again easy, direct handouts. So I would say, so 10 marks you are just given. similar sounding words, affect and effect, you know there is difference in their meaning. You just have to write those statements, those words in the sentences, bringing out their meaning. So don't write generic statements, but you know that, I mean, you should be able to do that. This is not difficult, very easy. Quiet and quiet, loose and loose, unqualified, disqualified, very easy questions. So these also you can find out from the internet, that similar sounding words you can search. Just look at the similar sounding words once and be done with it. Idioms, you can again search on the Google for generally used idioms in English language. You will get tons of idioms. Out of that, most popular 150, 100, 200 idioms. There are web pages dedicated for that. Just once read through it and your 10 marks are secured. These are again free 10 marks here, okay? Making adjectives out of this, making nouns out of this. Very, very easy. This is basic stuff in English, okay? So again, a key, if I were to tell you, adjective basically answers is the answer of question kya. If it is answering kya, it is adjective. Noun, kaisa. If it answers to kaisa or kaun. So yeah, very easy, very easy. You can find tons of YouTube videos out on this as well. And rewriting question as per directed. So direct speech, indirect speech, active voice, passive voice, assertive and change into assertive statement. Okay, so this is interrogative statement. You have to change into assertive. You have to combine these statements using since. So change degree of comparison. This is again a direct questions, very easy. You just have to give 1 hour or 2 hours for this entire grammar. These are the only questions that are getting asked. Okay, direct, indirect, active, passive voice, etc. So overall, this is a quite scoring section of this paper, and English paper is becoming very, very important. There is huge differentiation that can be created, as I already said. You can get 100 marks in English paper, you can get 150, 160, 170 marks in English paper, and I already showed you cutoffs, and you can only gauge then that how important these 160, 170 marks can be. Okay, fine. Strategy for forestry optional. I'll actually discuss forestry this year's paper with the best I can. I don't claim to be any expert in forestry, but whatever I have learned in these 2 attempts, I will try to share, and what your strategy can be looking at the papers of these 2 years, that I can share. And strategy for mathematics optional, and this mathematics optional of forestry is extension of mathematics optional of civil service examination. There are just 2-3 more topics that are there in forestry mathematics, like bilinear transformation. You can watch a YouTube video for that and done with it. Then there is postman problem. So very basic things are there in addition to what we study at for civil services examination, option. There is nothing much to it. Mathematics optional is again quite scoring, but it comes with its own challenges. So okay, that's all I wanted to tell you. If you have any doubts, any queries, if you want to talk about it, talk about anything about forest services, you can reach out, and thank you.